Okay, so let's talk about protocols with L-Arginine. Now we've already discussed that L-Arginine has to be accompanied with a blind amino acid writer. If it's not, then we see serious side effects, and as we've discussed in the Johns Hopkins trial, 10% of all the people that took L-Arginine, when Arginine acts like a rogue because it doesn't have a blind amino acid writer, can die from taking L-Arginine. Does that mean that L-Arginine is toxic or can kill you? Yes, if it's not attached to a blind amino acid writer, it can be dangerous. So if we're trying to produce nitric oxide, the sole mechanism in the human body that creates nitric oxide, and of course Dr. Ignara won the Nobel Prize for this, is through arginine. Now, a lot of people are saying, okay, well, I need citrulline with my arginine and I need creatine. That is absolutely absurd. Arginine creates those things. An arginine molecule, once it gets in the human body with a blind amino acid writer, it creates citrulline. It creates creatine. So what you don't want to do is take nutrients that aren't produced in a natural methodology like glutathione. Glutathione is produced by the correct proteins in a protein chain. All right, so what we want to do is, if you're looking for nitric oxide, and why would you be looking for nitric oxide? Okay, nitric oxide is going to oxygenate the blood. And why you want nitric oxide is you're going to get a lot better pump, and you're going to get a lot better sports performance. So let's just talk about the sports performance field with nitric oxide. Do not buy any nitric oxide product. And obviously, nitric oxide is only produced by L-Arginine. So these rumors that other vegetables or other proteins or other fruits will produce nitric oxide is not true. I've been researching nitric oxide now for 30 years. And the sole producer, according to the Nobel Prize winner and according to thousands and thousands of clinical research studies, is the amino acid L-Arginine. But we know we can't ingest L-Arginine on its own without a blind amino acid writer. Now, if you want to produce nitric oxide, here's what it's going to take. Between 5 and 7 grams of elemental L-Arginine with a blind amino acid writer. When do you want to take that? You want to use it as your sports drink. The primary times that you're going to produce nitric oxide and that you need nitric oxide are 3 times a day in between meals. So you do not try to drink arginine or a nitric oxide product that has arginine in it with a meal or prior to a meal. It needs to be at least an hour away from food. So you want it an hour away from the time you take the L-Arginine. You have to wait at least an hour for that arginine to turn into nitric oxide and metabolize. You don't want any food in that period. Growth hormone has a much stronger protocol, and we'll talk about that in a minute.